Criselda's behavior seemed to spiral out of control. She wasn't just entertaining her usual comfort men anymore. Now it included taxi drivers and random foreigners she'd supposedly met through an app. Her assistant, Herminia, revealed that Criselda could even handle 2 men at the same time. Before long, the beauty salon they ran together became the talk of the town. People whispered that it was just a front for more questionable activities. Hello, and welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into another shocking real-life story from around the world. This time, it takes us to the vibrant city of Pattaya, Thailand. This case is full of surprises and unexpected twists, so without further ado, let's get into it. What's the full story behind this intriguing case? Stick around as we unpack all the details. Before we get into today's story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this story with your friends. Now, let's dive in. This is the story of a beautiful woman named Criselda, born in 1969. She grew up in Rayong, Thailand, but her life wasn't easy. Criselda never knew her father, and according to her grandmother, her mother had attempted to abort her several times. Despite the odds, she was born and raised by her grandmother after her mother ran away. From childhood through her teenage years, Criselda's health was fragile. She often suffered from illnesses, seizures, and epilepsy. Even as an adult, she struggled with moments of absent-mindedness. In 1993, Criselda attended beauty school, where she met Christian, who later became her husband. The couple had a daughter, Naughty Vida, in 1995. For a while, their family life was picture-perfect. By 2000, with financial help from Christian, Criselda successfully opened her own beauty salon. However, in 2014, things took a strange turn. Criselda's confusion resurfaced, and she suddenly left her family and salon to travel alone to Pattaya. Staying with a relative, she began telling everyone she was a young girl. Concerned, Christian went to pick her up and took her to the hospital for evaluation. Surprisingly, the doctors declared her healthy, dismissing her erratic behavior as a ploy. But her family disagreed, pointing to her history of forgetfulness, confusion, and acting as if she were mentally unwell. Criselda underwent treatment for several months and seemed to recover, but the damage to her marriage was already done. By 2016, Christian had fallen in love with someone else and filed for divorce. Heartbroken, Criselda chose to move permanently to Pattaya to start over, while her ex-husband and his new wife remained in Rayong. Meanwhile, her daughter, Naughty Vida, had moved to Bangkok, where she married and settled. Though they stayed in touch through phone calls and texts, Naughty Vida rarely visited her mother. Living with relatives in Pattaya and relying on small remittances from her daughter left Criselda feeling restless. Determined to regain her independence, she took out a bank loan with help from a friend and opened a salon in the Nong Pla Lai area. At first, business was slow, with few customers during the first few months. But by the 5th month, her salon started gaining popularity, thanks to her relentless networking and clever social media promotions. By early 2017, Criselda's business had grown so much that she hired an assistant, Herminia, to help handle the influx of customers. Criselda's health improved, and she earned a reputation as the beautiful and stylish salon auntie, adored by many young and influential men in the area. Her daughter, Naughty Vida, was relieved and happy to see her mother thriving. With Criselda now financially independent and no longer a burden, their relationship remained steady, even from afar. In mid-2017, Criselda had an unexpected visitor. Her ex-husband, Christian, showed up at her door asking for money to help his sick wife. Furious, Criselda refused and kicked him out, calling him out for his hypocrisy. "When I was sick and struggling, you left me. Now that I've rebuilt my life, you come crawling back for help," she snapped. Her anger was palpable. Christian also suggested using her salon as collateral to secure a bank loan, claiming it would make the process easier. But Criselda stood firm, unwilling to help the man who had abandoned her. Frustrated, Christian lashed out, trashing her living quarters above the salon. The commotion forced Criselda to move out temporarily, and she sought police protection. Christian was detained for 2 weeks for causing trouble before being sent back to Rayong City. Despite her past struggles, Criselda had earned the affection and support of many locals. She was known for being friendly, participating in community events, and helping those in need during tough times. However, her flirtatious and increasingly wild behavior didn't go unnoticed. Her assistant, Herminia, shared how Criselda once secretly flirted with Herminia's boyfriend, causing a big argument between the couple. Eventually, Criselda apologized and encouraged Herminia to find a new boyfriend. But even when Criselda tried dating, the men she met seemed more interested in her money than anything else. Rather than being discouraged, Criselda leaned into the situation, choosing to pay for male companions instead. It became a habit, hiring male entertainers to keep her company. Herminia grew increasingly frustrated with her employer's behavior but felt powerless to intervene. By 2018, Criselda's actions became even more concerning. She wasn't just hiring entertainers anymore. She was also meeting taxi drivers and foreign men she claimed to have met through apps. Herminia revealed that Criselda would even entertain 2 men at the same time. Over time, their beauty salon gained an unfortunate reputation among the locals, with many accusing it of being a front for less than respectable activities. Herminia tried warning Criselda to rein in her behavior, but Criselda brushed it off. "Don't pay attention to what the neighbors say," she'd tell Herminia. "They're just jealous. As long as customers keep coming in and the money keeps rolling, there's nothing wrong." It wasn't just frustration. Herminia also felt that what her boss was doing went against her own morals and principles. By February 2018, she decided she couldn't stay any longer and handed in her resignation. It wasn't that Herminia didn't need the money. She simply couldn't reconcile her values with Criselda's behavior. She worried about the ethical implications and chose to step away. At first, Criselda tried to convince her to stay, but Herminia was firm in her decision. Eventually, Criselda let her go, though not without throwing some insults, calling Herminia pretentious for claiming to have principles. Left to manage the salon on her own, Criselda tried to hire new assistants. She posted job openings on social media and reached out to friends and family for help. Unfortunately, most people declined for one reason or another, leaving Criselda to run the business by herself. A few months later, Criselda started seeing Ignacio, a 27-year-old package courier who regularly delivered to her salon. Ignacio began hanging around even when he wasn't making deliveries, and locals started speculating that he was Criselda's boyfriend. Some days, the salon stayed closed, but Ignacio's motorcycle was parked outside, raising eyebrows. In early April 2018, things escalated when a furious woman showed up at the salon, causing a scene. It turned out she was Ignacio's wife. The neighborhood chief intervened to defuse the situation, and Criselda apologized, claiming she had no idea Ignacio was married. But according to Ignacio, he had told her about his wife from the beginning. Whether Criselda genuinely forgot or simply didn't care, her actions suggested otherwise. Ignacio was subsequently banned from the area, and Criselda was warned by the local community that if she continued bringing men into her home, she'd be evicted from the complex. But Criselda being Criselda, she didn't stay out of trouble for long. Just 2 weeks later, she started a relationship with Rogelio, a 29-year-old courier from a different delivery service. Rogelio had a reputation for being religious and responsible, with 2 kids of his own. He treated Criselda kindly during his deliveries, and she used her charm to draw him in. One day, she feigned a headache, claiming she hadn't been cared for in a long time. Rogelio, unable to resist her allure, fell into her trap. What started as a secret rendezvous quickly became a pattern. Over the next 3 weeks, Rogelio visited Criselda's house nearly a dozen times. Security cameras in the housing complex caught him coming and going frequently, and Criselda often skipped the salon altogether when he was around. Things seemed to get more discreet with Rogelio. Unlike the first courier, who parked his motorcycle right in front of Criselda's house, Rogelio was more cautious. He'd finish his delivery route, park his bike at a supermarket outside the complex, and then walk to Criselda's place. This way, it didn't look suspicious, and no one would guess the closed salon was actually hosting their secret rendezvous. But on May 13, 2018, their cover was blown. A parking attendant at the supermarket mentioned to a resident, Horacio, that a motorcycle parked there for 4 hours belonged to the salon auntie's boyfriend. Horacio, remembering the previous scandal involving a courier at Criselda's house, decided to investigate. Around 8 p.m., he went to Criselda's place and peeked through a side window. What he saw shocked him. Unable to keep it to himself, Horacio recorded the scene on his phone. Instead of reporting it to the neighborhood head, the 47-year-old rallied a group of residents to storm the salon. Fueled by anger, the mob kicked in the door and smashed the windows. Rogelio panicked and tried to escape but was beaten as he fled. Criselda, on the other hand, kept her composure, even confronting the crowd. She told them off, calling them sanctimonious and telling them to mind their own business. This only made the mob angrier. The group ransacked the salon, and when Criselda grabbed a knife to defend herself, she managed to knock one of them down. This escalated the situation even further. Someone brought gasoline, doused the place, and set it on fire, locking Criselda inside despite her desperate screams. Other neighbors saw the chaos but chose not to intervene. It wasn't until half an hour later that the head of the complex arrived, called the fire department, and urged the residents to help extinguish the flames. By then, Criselda had suffered significant burns on her head, arms, and legs. She was rushed to Pattaya Regional General Hospital, where she was treated for her injuries and ultimately survived. The police contacted Criselda's daughter, Notivida, as her closest relative, asking her to accompany her mother. When she arrived at the hospital, Criselda broke down, finally admitting her mistakes. She confessed to her daughter and the complex head that she regretted everything. Criselda explained that after her divorce, she struggled with loneliness. Her employees had left, her daughter was far away, and she felt like no one cared anymore. Her actions, she admitted, were an attempt to fill the void and distract herself from her depression and stress. But she also acknowledged that she had let her desires get the better of her, especially when it came to pursuing younger, married men. Following the incident, 4 people were arrested for their roles in the chaos and the attempted arson at Criselda's salon. Among them was Mr. Horacio, identified by authorities as the main instigator and provocateur. Officials noted that instead of reporting Criselda's actions to the head of the complex, he had taken the law into his own hands, leading to the violent confrontation. In his defense, Mr. Horacio's lawyer argued that this wasn't the first time Criselda had caused trouble in the neighborhood. According to him, she had repeatedly ignored warnings from the neighborhood chief. She's been told off plenty of times, but it just goes in one ear and out the other, the lawyer claimed. Horacio even justified his actions by saying, if she was just warned again, it wouldn't scare her. The only solution to behavior like this is to eliminate it entirely. On December 19, 2019, the Pattaya Regional High Court delivered its verdict. The 3 neighbors who participated in the incident were each sentenced to 2 months in prison. Meanwhile, Mr. Horacio, as the mastermind behind the disturbance, received a 2-year prison sentence and was ordered to pay damages for the destruction of the shophouse. Criselda wasn't off the hook either. She faced charges for misconduct and assault with a knife. The 49-year-old was sentenced to 6 months in prison, with her time served overlapping her ongoing treatment for burn injuries. As for Rogelio, the courier involved in the scandal, he was also sentenced to 3 months in prison under misconduct laws. What lessons can we learn from this story?